Hello students, how are you all? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Dear students, today we shall study Environmental Studies Part 1 Standard 5. In this subject, we are going to study the remaining part of the lesson number 3, the Earth and its living world. In the previous video, we have studied about the lithosphere. Now, today we are going to study the remaining part of this chapter, that is hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. Okay students? Yes. Do you remember what do you mean by lithosphere? Yes. Students, if you do remember, you can type your answer in the comment box. Students, let me tell you, the outer part of the earth or the rigid part of the earth is called as lithosphere. Okay, the outer crust and the mantle is known as lithosphere. Okay students? Yes. Now let's move towards hydrosphere. Students, do you know what is hydrosphere? If you know, you can type your answer in the comment box. Students, before understanding what is hydrosphere, let's have some information. Students, one more important thing I would like to tell you here. If you want to understand anything, reading is very important. Reading helps us to understand the content. So, here I will read it for you and then I will explain it to you line by line. Okay students, so here we are going to study the surface of water. Let me first read it for you. Surface of water. There are many streams of water flowing over the land. This water is not salty but fresh. These streams of water may be rills, brooks, streams or rivers. Rills are the smallest and rivers the biggest. Students, we see in the rainy season on the surface of the earth many streams flow. Yes, student, have you observed it? Nowadays it is rainy season and continuously rain is falling. Okay, then in this situation or in the raining situation, we see a lot of streams that are flowing on the earth. This water is not salty but fresh. Yes student, the water which is flowing on the earth or on the surface of earth, that is fresh water. It is not salty as the water of ocean or sea. It is a fresh water. What do you mean by fresh water student? Fresh means drinkable water or potable water. The water that we can drink. Okay, so it is called as fresh water. These streams of water may be rills, brooks, streams or rivers. The water that flows on the surface of land or earth may be rills, brooks, streams or rivers. What is rill student? Yes, after the rain we see a lot of rills in front of our courtyard. Everywhere we can see the rills on the surface of the land. Okay, these rills are the smallest form of stream or river we can say. Yes, you can see the picture, you can understand student what is rills. Now brooks, what is brook? It is also a form of stream but it is larger than rill. So stream is larger than brook and smaller than river. You can see in the picture so that you can understand what is stream. And then rivers, the bigger form of a stream is river. Okay student, so here rills are the smallest and rivers are the biggest one. Okay student, have understood? Very good. Now we shall move forward. Rills, brooks, streams join each other to form rivers. Rivers which join to make a bigger river are called its tributaries. What are the tributaries student? The rivers which join to make a bigger river. In some places a river cascades down a sudden drop. This forms a waterfall. Yes, student, most of the time we see waterfalls in the rainy season. Okay, student, what is waterfall actually? When the water falls from a top land or highland is called as waterfall. Okay, so water falls from hills or mountains or a steep rock is known as waterfall. Okay, student, so here we see a river cascade down a sudden drop. Okay, so this is called as waterfall. All rivers eventually flow into the ocean. Students, we know that most of the rivers flow into the ocean only. Okay, student, you can see in the picture so that you can understand. Most of the rivers flow into the great oceans. Okay, student, have you understood this much? Very good. Now, students, with this information, let's move forward. Lakes. A water body formed by water collecting naturally in low-lying area of land is called a lake. Students, what do you mean by lake? Can you tell me? Have you ever seen a lake? Yes. If you have seen, you can type S in the comment box. Okay, student, it is a deposition of water in the low-lying area of land naturally. Okay, student, it is not artificial. If it is artificial, that is called as dam. Okay, students, but here it is naturally water deposits in the low lying area is called as lake. Okay, most of the time we see that the water of lake is fresh one that can be potable or drinkable. Okay, student, have you understood? Very good. Water in the form of ice. Water particles in the clouds freeze, and in cold regions they come down in the form of snow. When layers of snow pile up on the ground, they form ice. When such layers of the ice pile up in a low-lying area, they become enormous in size. This huge mass slips down a slope at a very slow speed. This is called a glacier. Yes, student, now we shall study about water in the form of ice. We can see the three different forms of water. It is liquid, ice and gaseous. So here we are going to study about the water in the form of ice. Water particles in the cloud freeze, and in cold regions they come down in the form of snow. Students, we know that how does rain fall? Okay, after condensation, the vapor converts into the smaller particles, and when the particles comes together, then it forms droplets, and if it is very cold, then the droplets converts into ice or snowballs. Thus the snow falls down in the cold region. So, and when the snow falls down, a layer of snow pile up. Pile means what, student? What do we mean by pile up here? Yes, collecting together, storing together. So here we the layer of snow deposited on the ground, and it forms ice, and gradually the size of ice increases, and the huge mass of ice slips down from the slope at a slow speed. Students, this is called a glacier. There are also huge blocks of ice floating in the sea, and they are called as iceberg. Okay, students, have you understood now what is iceberg? The blocks of ice that float on the sea water is called as iceberg. Okay, students, have you understood now? Very good. Groundwater. Besides these water bodies on the Earth's surface, there is a lot of water stored in the underground layers of rock. It is called groundwater. Student, what is groundwater? Do you know what is groundwater? Yes, the water that is stored underground layers of the rock is called as groundwater, or we can say the water that is stored or deposited inside the crust or the mantle or the rigid part of the earth is known as groundwater. Okay, student, then how can we fetch it or how can we get the groundwater. How do we get the groundwater? Yes, if you know, you can type your answer in the comment box. We reach it by means of dug wells and bore wells. These are the important sources. With the help of dug wells and bore wells, we can reach it, or we can get it, or we can fetch it. Okay students, many lakes and wells get water from underground springs. Most of the times we can see springs, the dug wells, springs in the lakes. Okay, and because of that, many lakes and wells get water from underground springs. Okay, have you understood now? The water or ice that occupies the Earth's surface, groundwater, and the water vapor in the atmosphere together form the hydrosphere. Yes student, what do you mean by hydrosphere? The water or the ice that occupies the Earth's surface. It means that the water available on the earth, the ice available on the earth, the water available in the ground, okay, as well as the water in the vapor form in the atmosphere, all together form the hydrosphere. Okay student, have you understood now? So here we have studied the Earth's hydrosphere. In hydrosphere, the water in all form on the earth is included. Okay student, have you understood? Very good. Now we shall study further. Student, now we shall study the atmosphere. The envelope of air around the earth is called the atmosphere. As we go higher from the surface of the earth, the air is in the atmosphere becomes rarer. The air consists of a mixture of gases, namely nitrogen, oxygen, water, vapor, and carbon dioxide. There are some other gases too in the air in very small quantities. Yes student, what is atmosphere? Atmosphere is an envelope of air around the earth is called the atmosphere. Then what is mean by envelope? Envelope means a layer. Okay, it is a layer of air around the earth, that is called that atmosphere. It is very easy student. But student, when we go up and up from the surface of the earth, the air becomes very less. It becomes very rarer. Okay, rarer means less. So whenever we go higher and higher from the surface of the earth, the air becomes very rare. The air consists of a mixture of gases. What does consist in air student? Yes, the air consists of a mixture of gases, various gases, namely nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor, carbon dioxide. All these gases are included or consist in air. Okay student, as well as some other gases also included, but in very small quantity. Okay student, most of the time we see nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor and carbon dioxide in the air. Okay student, have you understood now? Yes, now let's move forward. The layers of the atmosphere are named as troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, exosphere. Okay student, so these are the layers of atmosphere. Troposphere, it is very close to our earth. Then next one is stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. Exosphere and ionosphere are the uppermost layers of the atmosphere. The layers that extend from the Earth's surface to a height of about 13 km is called troposphere. Yes student, here in this figure you can see it is Earth and this layer is of a troposphere. This layer is of troposphere and it is about 13 km. And most of the atmospheric activities occur in this troposphere only. It means climatic changes, raining, all the changes we do find, as well as rainbow we do find in this troposphere. Okay student, the conditions in the troposphere change continuously. Yes, just now I have told you the conditions here being changed continuously in troposphere. They affect the living world to a great extent, and the changes in this troposphere, they affects on the living world of the earth. Okay, student, have understood? Very good. Now we shall move forward. The surface of the earth gets heated due to the heat it receives from the sun. Hence, the air nearest the surface is the hottest. As we go higher in the troposphere, it becomes cooler. Yes, student, we know that because of the sun rays, because of the sunlight that the earth receives, and when it receives, the air nearby the earth's surface get heated, and when the air get heated, automatically the land gets heated itself. Okay, so here the air get heated first, then the land get heated. Okay, student, so here the air nearest to the surface of the earth get hottest because of the sun rays or sunlight received by the earth. Okay, student, and as we go higher in the troposphere, it becomes cooler. Okay, student, yes, we know that when we go on mountains or hills, we see the temperature goes on decreasing. We see cool temperature there. Okay, and it happens because of the altitude. Altitude means height. When we go up and up, the temperature becomes low. Now let's move forward. Almost all the water vapor in the atmosphere is contained in the troposphere. That is why all weather related phenomena such as formation of clouds, rain, fog, winds and storms take place in the troposphere. The air on the high mountains is rarer than the air near the Earth's surface. Aeroplanes fly in the higher parts of the troposphere. There, the air is very rare. Therefore, arrangements have to be made to ensure that passengers get enough air for breathing. Yes, student, here what almost the water vapor in the atmosphere is contained in the troposphere only. In this troposphere, we see the almost all the water vapor is available. And due to this, we see all the weather related phenomena in this sphere only, in this layer only. Okay, the weather related phenomena such as clouds, rain, fog, wind and storm. Okay, all these weather related phenomena occur in this sphere only. Okay, student. Then the air on the high mountains is rarer than the air near the Earth's surface. Just now I have told you, students. So here nearby the Earth's surface, the density of air is a lot. But when we go up to the higher altitude, we see the density of air is very rare one. And the aeroplanes fly in the higher parts of the troposphere. Okay, student. So here we should make the arrangements of oxygen so that the passengers in the aeroplane should get enough air for breathing. Okay, students. Yes. So we see in the aeroplanes there are oxygen masks. Okay, student, have you understood now? Very good. Now let's move forward. Beyond the troposphere up to a height of about 50 kilometers from the earth is the layer called the stratosphere. In the lower part of the stratosphere, there is a layer of a gas called ozone. Ultraviolet rays coming from the sun are harmful for living things, but the ozone layer absorbs them and protects the living world from those rays. Yes, student. Beyond the troposphere, up to the height of 50 kilometer. Yes, student, troposphere is of or is about 13 kilometer, and from troposphere if we go up to 50 kilometers is known as stratosphere. Okay, students, and in this stratosphere we can see a layer of gas. This layer of gas is called ozone layer. Okay, student, ozone layer plays an important role in our life. How does it play an important role in our life? It protects us from the ultraviolet rays that are coming from sun, and these ultraviolet rays are very harmful to us. The ozone layer absorbs the ultraviolet rays and protect the living world from those rays. Okay, student, have you understood? Yes, very good. Student, here two questions are given. Use your brain. In short, I would like to tell you, in which layer of the atmosphere do we see rainbow? Yes, can you tell me, student? Yes, just now we have learned all the phenomena or the weather related phenomena such as clouds, rain, fog, wind and storm take place in the troposphere. It means that this is also weatheric phenomena. So in the troposphere we can see a rainbow. Okay, students, have understood? Very good. The second question, mountaineers carry oxygen in cylinders when they climb mountains that are more than 5,000 meter high. What could be the reason for that? Yes, student, just we have studied that as we go higher from the surface of the earth, the air in the atmosphere becomes rarer. Okay, student, and so the mountaineers will require the oxygen at the high altitude, and so they need to carry the oxygen cylinders with them when they need to climb mountains that are more than 5,000 meter high. Student, here a new word is given, that is condensation. Yes, we are going to study about how does it rain. Okay, there we are going to study this concept, that is condensation. What is condensation? The process of vapor turning into water on cooling, that is called as condensation. Students, just now I have told you that we are going to study about the water cycle, okay, or how does it rain. Let me read first for you, then I will explain it to you. Water on the earth evaporates continuously due to the heat of the sun. Water that has percolated into the soil also evaporates due to the heat and enters the atmosphere. As water vapor is lighter than air, it rises high up into the atmosphere. As it goes higher, it cools and condenses, forming very fine droplets of water. The droplets are so small and light that they float in the atmosphere, forming clouds. These small droplets join together and form bigger drops, which are heavy. They cannot float. Such drops of water fall down on the earth in the form of rain. Yes, students, you know how does rain fall? Yes, we all know how does rain fall. Actually, the water evaporates which is on the land, as well as the water evaporates which has percolated into the soil. It means the water which has soaked into the soil, which has percolated in the land, that water also get evaporated because of the heat. The water vapor is lighter than air, and the result of it rises high up into the atmosphere. It goes up into the sky. Okay, when it goes into the sky, then it forms clouds. How does it form clouds? How does it form clouds? Yes, when it goes higher, it cools and condenses, forming a very fine droplets. Yes, student, when the water vapor goes up, because of coolness, the water vapor converts into the smaller, very fine droplets of water, we can say. The droplets are very small, so they can float in the atmosphere. When they float in the atmosphere, they come together and they form bigger droplets, and it becomes heavy, and because of heaviness it falls down. That falling of droplet is called rain. Okay, students, yes, such drops of water fall down on the earth in the form of rain. Okay, students, that is also called as precipitation. Okay, students, have you understood this much? How does rain fall? Yes. Now next, this rainwater flows into rills, streams, rivers and finally into sea. Ice in the snow-covered regions also melt due to the heat of the sun to finally flow into rivers. Yes, student, earlier we have studied that the rainwater flows into rills, streams, rivers, and finally it gets into the sea. In the same way, the ice melts because of the heat, and the converted water from ice flows into rivers finally, or oceans finally. These processes of evaporation, condensation, and rainfall go on in a continuous cycle. This is known as water cycle in the nature. So students, it is a continuous process. It goes on continuously. So it is called as a cycle of water or water cycle in nature. Okay, student, have understood this much? Very good. Now student, we shall study what is the biosphere. Yes, students, can you tell? Make as long a list as you can of all the living things you see in the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Student, you have to make a list of the living things that you see in the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Yes, student, you can type your answer in the comment box. Let's read first. There are innumerable kinds of living things on the earth. The various regions of the earth differ in many ways. Some regions are always covered with ice, while others have a hot climate. There are mountains in some places and plains in others. Some places have a lot of rainfall, while others are dry deserts. There are salty seas and oceans, and also freshwater lakes. The ocean is shallow near the coast, but away from the coastal line, the ocean can be several kilometers deep. Yes, student, here we can see. What do we see here? Innumerable kinds of living things on the earth. Why do we find, or why do we have such kind of innumerable kinds of living things on the earth? Because of the diversity on the earth, because of the variation in the regions of the earth. Okay, so here various regions we find on the earth. Students, we see some of the regions are snow capped or ice is there. We see mountainous area is there. We see plateau one. So here we can see a difference in regions: hilly regions, plateau regions, plain regions. Okay, the region of rivers, the dry deserts are there. Okay, so such kind of, as well as we see salty water on the earth, as well as we can see the fresh water on the earth. And because of such kind of variations on the region of the earth, we see difference in the lives on the earth. Okay, students? Yes, student, let's move forward. We see a great variety in the living things that inhabit these different regions. So here we see a variety in living things that inhabit these different regions. In these regions we can see the difference in plants and difference in the animals also, that they are inhabiting that particular region. Okay, student, if it is a snow capped area, then animals are different one and plants also are different one. For example, we see in a snow capped area polar bears. So in this way we see variety in plants as well as variety in animals in such kind of regions. The polar bear is seen only in the snowbound polar region. We can find the polar bear in only the snowbound area or snow-capped areas, we can say. Okay, students? And zebras are found in Africa and kangaroos are found in only Australia. Yes, student. Here, because of the temperature, because of the atmospheric conditions, zebra are found in Africa only. Nowhere we will see the zebra. In the same way, kangaroos can be found in Australia only because of the climatic changes or climatic conditions, we can say. These animals are not found in any other regions. We will not find these animals in any other regions of the earth. Elephants and lions are found in the regions of hot climate. Yes, student, in the hot climate we can see elephants and lions. Plants in all these different regions also show a great variety. Just now I have told you, we can see a variety in trees, okay, in such kind of various regions also. This variety is characteristics of those different regions, okay student. So the variety is the characteristics of those different regions only. Many different kinds of plants, animals and microorganisms are found everywhere on the earth, on land, in water and in air. Living things exist in the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. They also interact with these spheres. This living world constitutes the biosphere. Yes student, so here what do we see? Many different kinds of plants, animals, microorganisms are found everywhere on the earth. Here what we can say, the living things are existed in lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. In all the spheres we can see the presence or existence of living things. So all these living things interacts with all these spheres also, and this living world constitutes a biosphere. The living world forms the biosphere. Okay student, have you understood now? Very good. So student, here today what we have studied? We have studied surface of water, that is hydrosphere. Then we have studied atmosphere and the layers of atmosphere, that is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. Then we have studied how does it rain, okay, or the water cycle. At the last we have studied the biosphere. Okay, there is variety in plants and animals because of the difference in region. Okay student, have understood? Very good. In the next video we are going to study the exercises given on the page number 17. Okay student, if you have liked this and found it useful to you, then like it, share it to your friends, comment below the video. Do not forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you will get current notification of new videos. Thank you. Be connected.